So, we are back in Minecraft on 4 different consoles. On the top, we have the older 7th gen consoles, Xbox 360 on the left, PlayStation 3 on the right. On the bottom, we have the later 8th and 9th gen consoles, Xbox Series S on the left, Nintendo Switch on the right. I'm doing a comparison of the 4 editions, 2 of which are available at the time of me making this video, and the two of what is the old school 4J legacy experience of the older console editions of Minecraft. In terms of resolution and frame rate, then, Xbox 360, PS3, and Switch, we're getting 720p at 60 FPS, though neither of them really seem to reach that target. You tend to see a fair share of lag spikes and stutters and freezes throughout gameplay. And ironically, Switch did have 1080p support before they updated it to Bedrock, and it dropped back down to 720. Series S, we're getting 4K at 60 FPS, though my TV is capped at 1080p, so the game is being displayed at 1080p instead. And Series S, for the most part, doesn't really seem to have many performance issues as far as my experience goes. I don't really seem to run into any lag spikes or freezing other than when I intentionally try to break the game in creative. Though that's still not to say that the Series S version, considering this is Bedrock after all, is necessarily top notch. Now and again, the game will have some form of performance issue, but for the most part, it is very unlikely in the case of the Series S. So on the top left, we have the 360, which is on its latest version, which is the Aquatic update, or TU75, which is the final update for the Xbox 360. Though it did used to have TU9, but it was literally bare bones. It was a version where creative and the end were literally just added, and plus TU9 had a lot of crashes, so my Xbox would freeze randomly at any given moment. So I updated it to the latest version it supports, and most of the crashing seems to have been patched. While PS3, since I don't have a PSN account and I can't be bothered to make one just because, well, it's PS3 and it's ancient in this day and age, I've just left it on TU14, which is the base version of PS3 edition. I know, it's a version of the game from 11 years ago, equivalent to Java 1.4. I might not update it anytime soon, but we'll see. After all, it doesn't crash. It seems to be more stable than TU9, but that's not to say there are no crashes in TU14. And of course, along the bottom, we have the Series S and the Switch running the latest Bedrock update. And like, my main focus was okay, I walk around in a randomly generated Minecraft world in survival mode. It's a random seed for all 4 worlds. That way, you can see the render distance, the graphics, etc., all of which side by side, so you can see the difference between all 4 and how they can handle the environment at a standard everyday pace. And the first thing I notice is, of course, the graphics. The graphics on the 360 and PS3 are, well, to say the least, they still have the old textures from Java Beta 1.8, I believe. I believe there was only one legacy console version that had the 1.14 textures, that being PS4 before being migrated to Bedrock. Series S and Switch, as you can see, do have the newer textures, or newer textures, should I say. And for the Series S specifically, graphically it beats out the other 3 consoles because it's the only console of my lot that supports vibrant visuals. And I've got to admit, it looks much better than the other 3 because of this. Basically, vibrant visuals was added to every Bedrock platform apart from Switch, though it can't be hard to see why Switch didn't receive vibrant visuals, although I would have liked that it switched to vibrant visuals in docked mode, but then it switched out of vibrant visuals once you have it in handheld mode, but whatever. Also, no pun intended there. With render distance on 360 and PS3, you get a total of 10 chunks squared, which can't be changed whatsoever. There's no option for it in settings. On Switch, you have 12 chunks rounded, which can be taken down to 5 in settings. Series S with the vibrant visuals on, you get 16 chunks rounded, but there is a performance mode which bumps the render distance down to 12. Personally, I have it on 12 because with 16 you only get 30 FPS. But with vibrant visuals off, which is what it used to be before the addition of vibrant visuals, you can get 36 chunks rounded. Aside from the visual changes, there is definitely a heck of a lot more features in the newer versions, obviously, with the Series S and Switch. You get all the updates, which adds all sorts of things such as beads and obviously caves and cliffs. And on top of that, they've also done up the Nether, and now the Nether has actual biomes instead of it being one single monotonous netherrack biome all the way across. And because they're Bedrock, they also have support for like cross-play and rounds in the marketplace, you name it. One big difference I immediately notice about, the way the world renders in and whatnot is basically you might be able to see those chunks in the distance on the 360 and the PS3, randomly popping in and out as I traverse the overworld, whereas Series S and Switch seem to hide this a little bit better, especially with the more advanced graphics of the two later consoles. Also, notice the world generation has evolved over the course of Minecraft's life as well. The worlds on the Xbox 360 and PS3 were locked at A64 by A64, which you could not change this, by the way. And I'm aware that there are some legacy console versions that you could change, like Xbox One and PS4, but 360 and PS3, you're just kind of stuck with A64 by A64. Now, Series S and Switch, since we're talking Bedrock Edition, they have practically infinite worlds. You can pretty much have your world be as big as you want without bumping into the infamous world border that console edition was known for. And also, you can see how the biome is slightly different, especially with the release of the Caves and Cliffs update, where it adds more biomes such as Deep Dark and Cherry Blossom, etc., etc. So hopefully you're getting an idea of what the four versions of the game are like in terms of gameplay and aesthetics. And obviously, with the 360 and PS3 not being the Bedrock edition, that gives it a slightly different basis and style for those editions and Minecraft in general. Regarding performance again, when these versions came out, they ran quite clean actually. But then it got to a point where they focused more on adding more features to the game than optimization. And quite clearly, the Series S has no issues whatsoever. Mind you, the Series S is a very powerful console, especially when you put it up against the other three consoles. And I know there's this big debate between Bedrock and the old 4J Legacy editions. Some people have like this weird twisted nostalgia for the old versions. But I'm going to make one thing clear. Minecraft Bedrock Edition is not a bad port of the game. I enjoy playing Bedrock as much as I play the older versions, probably slightly more in the case of there being more features, such as in creative modes where you have actual commands now. And it's also hard to believe that 360 Edition, which is the first Minecraft port for console, came out 13 years ago. Ah, wow, that's crazy. I remember first having my Xbox 360 when I was 9 and then getting Minecraft. I was like, oh, yeah, Minecraft, and I could play finally. And yeah, Minecraft has changed a fair bit since my first time playing. It's definitely a lot better in a lot of ways, like the graphics, as mentioned before. I think the Series S does a really good job at rendering. Like I said, 360 and PS3 have a very short render distance, and you can quite obviously see the chunks bouncing in and out. Whereas Series S, yes, it still renders, but it's more so in the background, unless you've just loaded in and it has to load the world, etc. Which, yeah, obviously it's got to load all the resources and the assets. Otherwise, it's pretty much perfectly loaded in. And then features wise, I think we're going to talk about things like, for instance, Xbox 360 and PS3 have the whole 4J minigame library, which it was a fun idea by 4J since Legacy Console Edition was unable to run on servers, so they compromised with minigames which just so happened to be successful. And it's a little bit different, but like Series S and Switch, with them being Bedrock, like I say, crossplay, which is a gem, plus you have realms. Then you've also got the marketplace, which keeps Minecraft like full with all the skins curated by the Minecraft community. And it even has like customizable skins, which wasn't present in Legacy Console Edition or even Java for that matter. Though one thing I will say though is I do miss the Red King skin that you can see on the 360 and the PS3 up top. You can just about see the hand icon by the hotbar. That skin, and for that matter, Skin Pack 1, which the King skin was part of, was never brought over to Bedrock, which is a bit disappointing because I really like that skin. But the silver lining is I did download Legacy Skin Pack from the marketplace before it was delisted. hence why I'm using Tuxedo Skeeve in Series S and Switch. Definitely, the aim of the game hasn't really changed much whatsoever, come to think of it. It's Minecraft. You chop down trees and kill the dragon, and it's a tad weird to think that Minecraft, of all games, would be one of those games that would change visually, being as it's generally simplistic with its blocky art style. But it does, in terms of the resolution and frame rates, and especially in the case of the Series S, vibrant visuals, which is a blast. It completely alters how we perceive the world of Minecraft and how we see it. The better graphics and the 4K really do give more of an immersion, in my opinion. I'm genuinely surprised that the 360 and the PS3 editions were supported for so long, especially given the releases of the Xbox One and PS4 that was updated alongside. And one thing that fascinates me is that in the case of Xbox, Minecraft went from being a third party game, like in the case of PlayStation and Nintendo still, to being a first party under the control of Microsoft. And to see Minecraft evolve has been such a journey. And here we are years later, and Minecraft's fundamentals are still practically the same to have fun in the sandbox. And by the way, split screen can change the frame rate a little bit as well. Or in the case of the Series S, the graphics are temporarily degraded, probably for performance reasons. But yeah, I just thought this Minecraft comparison was sort of interesting, seeing the full version side by side. Anyway, if you enjoyed the comparison of the four, consider giving this video a like. Minecraft is still a game I play on a daily basis. It's like the god of games. In case you couldn't tell by all the videos on my channel regarding Minecraft, though I may consider doing this type of comparison again, but only throwing my laptop in the mix, running both Java and Bedrock. Peace.